Hey, okay, so we're going to be going over solving root equations, square root equations. You're going to be doing pages 391 through 393. You are going to do everything, including the check your understanding. So we're going to go over a couple of things. First thing is that when we rewrite square root of x, okay, that is the same as writing as x to the 1/2. That is a major thing that you need to remember. Okay, so now we're going to go over some basic stuffs here. So, for example, let's go over old stuff that we've done. So we're going to call this our bell ringer on here. Please make sure that you are writing this on your notes. I'm going to check it on Tuesday. So the first one is x plus 2 squared plus 3 equals 12. I'm going to leave you a second, press pause, try it on your own, and then compare it. If you're depending on me for every single part of this problem, you're not going to understand it even better. Okay, so let's see if you did this right. Subtract 3 to both sides. So we get 9 equals x plus 2 squared. The inverse of something squared, well, is taking the square root. We've done this before. So the square root of 9 is 3, and it's also a negative 3. So we have x plus 2 equals 2 of these answers. So we're going to set up two different situations. X plus 2 is going to equal 3, and x plus 2 is going to equal negative 3. So we have to solve it twice. Subtract 2 on both sides. X equals 1, and x equals negative 5. Alright, so let's get to the new stuff. Here is example 1. Alright, so for example 1, we're going to have the square root of x minus 3 plus 4 on the outside equal to 9. So, first step, we're going to move 4 to the other side. Subtract 4, subtract 4. So now we got the square root of x minus 3 equals 5. We are going to do the inverse, and that is squaring it. We're going to square both sides. So, square and square. So now we have x minus 3 equals 25. Lastly, we solve. So we have x equals 28. And that's it. So now we're going to check our answer on the left side. So when I plug in 28 for x, I'm going to get 28 minus 3 plus 4 equals 9. That gives me 25 when I do 28 minus 3 plus 4 equals 9. Well, square root of 25 is, one of the answers is 5. And that works out. Okay, now let's do example 2. So example 2, we have x equals x plus 1 to the 1/2 plus 5. Okay, so we can rewrite this 1/2 as a square root. So we're going to put that on the side. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I want to have the square root on one side and everything else on the other. So I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides. So now I have x minus 5 equals the square root of x plus 1. Okay, so now we want to solve for x. So in order for us to solve for x, I need to get rid of the square root. I'm going to use the inverse, and I'm going to square it. So I'm going to square both sides. And now this one does not break out to x squared plus 25. X minus 5 squared. Huge thing to remember is that you write it twice. So that gives me x squared minus 10x plus 25. We have x squared minus 10x plus 25 equals x plus 1. Okay, now I need to get everything on one side. So I'm going to move the right. So I'm going to subtract x on here and subtract 1. So now I get x squared minus 11x plus 24 equals 0. Well, guess what we're going to do in this situation? We're going to factor. So you need to find two factors of 24, then when I multiply them, I get 24, and when I add them, I get negative 11. Alright, so my options is negative 8 and negative 3. So I'm going to have x minus 8 and x minus 3. I'm going to equal to 0, which means that x minus 8 equals 0, and x minus 3 equals 0. So my answer choices are 3 and 8. Now I'm going to check it. So in order for me to check it, I'm going to plug it in. I'm going to plug it into the original. So my first one is I'm going to plug in 3. So I'm going to plug that in for x. So I'm going to get 3 equals square root of 4 plus 5. 3 equals 2 plus 5. Well, 3 does not equal 7, so 3 is an extraneous solution. Okay, so let's make sure that 8 doesn't have an extraneous solution. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do it with 8 though. So we're going to get 8 equals the square root of 8 plus 1 plus 5. Well, square root of 8 plus 1 is square root of 9. Plus 5. Well, 8 equals 3 plus 5. So 8 is my only answer. Alright, for number 6, I'm not going to do it for you, but I'm going to show you how you're going to type it in your calculator. So you're going to go to New Document. Okay, and you're going to go to Graphs. And you're going to type in the first equation, which is 2 square root of x plus 4. And you are going to type in the second equation. So to get to the next equation, you press Control G, and you're going to type in 6. When you graph it, you should get something that looks like this. Where they intersect, that is what x is going to equal. So for example, if it equals 3, 6, x is going to equal 3. If your situation is 9, 6, it'll be this is not the answer for number 6. I'm explaining on how to do it. Okay? Alright, so you're going to do all of these problems. The only ones that you're excused for is the whole speed equation from the previous lesson. And then you were good to go. Alright, good luck.